Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Probable Cause Christianity. Tonight it's Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, doing a little bit earlier. Thought I'd try this out and see if maybe I can get a few more people. Maybe somebody goes to bed early or whatever, to maybe they can get on here and check things out. Also, as you know, everything is archived, so you can go on my YouTube channel, Probable Cause Christianity, and look at all my past videos and stuff like that if you need to catch up or want to catch up. We are doing Revelations, and we'll be continuing with Revelation. Tonight, we're going to be going over Philadelphia. So, no, not the Philadelphia where the Eagles are, but Philadelphia, the Church of Philadelphia. This is, let's see, Philadelphia would be the 6th church in the 7 churches of Revelation. And, really, what can I say about Philadelphia? I'll get into it more, but, there was Philadelphia. Jesus didn't have anything bad to say about it. So he actually had a lot of good stuff to say. So we will get into that, and I will start going in. So it is Revelation 3, 7 through 13 is where they talk about Philadelphia. So let me go ahead and set my timer here real quick, and we'll get into it. Alrighty. So 3, 7 through 13 says, "To the angel of the church of Philadelphia, write, these are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars, I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. Since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth. I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take your crown. The one who is victorious, I will make him a pillar in the temple of my God. Never again will they leave it. I will write on them the name of my God and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, which is coming down out of heaven from my God, and I will also write on them my new name. Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit says to the churches." Okay, so pretty good stuff there, pretty powerful. We'll get into this a little bit more, but first let's talk about the actual city. It is the youngest of the cities, youngest of the churches. It's now known as Al-Shahir. It was built in the area acquired by Pergamos in 189 BC. It was King Eumenes II. He was the king of Pergamos, and he was the one that actually built the city and got it going. So, something to go over here, we need to talk about what was in there, the key of David. Okay, so when they was talking about the keys, let me read Isaiah 22, 20 through 25. It says, "And it shall come to pass that in that day I will call my servant Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and I will clothe him with thy robe, and strengthen him with thy girdle, and I will commit thy government into his hand, and he shall be father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to the house of Judah. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulder. So he shall open, and none shall shut, and he shall shut, and none shall open. And I will fasten him as a nail in a sure place, and he shall be for a glorious throne to his father's house. And they shall hang upon him all the glory of his father's house, the offspring and the issue, all vessels of small quantity, from the vessel of cups, even to all the vessels of flagons. In that day, saith the Lord of hosts, shall the nail that is fastened in the sure place be removed and be cut down and fall, and the burden that was on it shall be cut off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Okay, so basically in here when it's talking about it, the key, it's a symbol of power. Okay, so basically it gave full administrative authority. Eliakim carried a heavy key on a loop slung over his shoulder, indicating his power to grant or deny others an audience with the king. So basically he was the doorway. He was the one that could open it and shut it or keep people in or out or whatever. And he alone provided the access to the presence of the king. So if anybody wanted to come and talk to the king at that time, they had to go through him. He had the key. He made the decisions. I'm sure the king probably made some decisions too. But he was the one that held the key to keep people in and out. Okay? So now, the commendation. He says, I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength, and hast kept my word, and hast not denied my name. Okay, so open doors. Okay, with an open door, there's really basically saying there's no expression for concern. He has no concern. The door is open. It doesn't have to be shut. When he says, hast not denied my name, back in that day when the deity of Christ is blatantly denied by seminary and pulpit, it was in a day when this stuff was really difficult for people to be Christians. I know a lot of times it is now too. What kind of ambassador are you? I mean, ask yourself this truly and be honest. Would you ever deny Christ? I mean, would there ever be a time where you might deny him? Or if you do today, I mean, in your daily lives, if people, are talking about him or talking bad about Christ or talking bad about God or Christianity or something like that, do you speak up? Do you say anything? Or do you even just walk away if you don't want to say anything or if you don't want to listen to it? That would be something you could do. But don't ever deny him. Don't fall into that. That is something that is very bad. It's something that you don't want to do. So, all right. Next, word of his patience. Okay? So, when he says, because thou hast kept my word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, the word of his patience, you can read more about this in 2 Thessalonians 3:5, and he waits in the millennial kingdom. So you can also find that in Hebrews 10, 12, 13, where he talks about, he waits. He's waiting. He's a patient God, and he's biding his time, and he's waiting patiently, and therefore you should also be patient. All right? So, let's talk about King David just a little bit because they kind of talk about that. Okay, King David was the anointed king of Israel, and for a time he was exiled from his kingdom and took refuge in a cave that was in Adullam, I believe. And if you want to read about it, it's in 1 Samuel, 2 Samuel, I think 1 Samuel 22:1, 1 Corinthians 11:15. It talks about it in there. So if you want to know more about it, those are the places you can go. But King David was refused by his people. He gathered three classes of people around him. Okay, so he had men in debt, men of danger, and men of discontent. And he transformed all these men into mighty men. And ultimately, he left Adullam and went back for his crowning and became king. So he basically built himself an army and went back. So that was pretty cool. So let's talk about the king today. David was a rejected king at that time, and then he overcame it. And here again, you have Christ as the rejected king, and he's rejected to this day. This is something that today Christ is Earth's, rejected king, but the anointed king will soon return and take his rightful throne, Jesus. He will give his city, the New Jerusalem, its new name, and in each of his own will be marked with his new name. Basically a badge of triumph is what it's saying. So that's something to look forward to. So the hour of trial, okay, when he talks about this is the only letter that is in here with a promise of keeping them out of the time of what I believe is the Great Tribulation is what they're talking about. They're talking about that church, specifically those people, that he's going to keep them from that Great Tribulation or that hour of trial and devastation. A lot of people like to look into this and read into this too much, that they think that that's when the rapture is going to take place is before, the pre-rapture individuals that believe that. They kind of use this as part of that passage and to basically, as a fact, that there is going to be a pre-tribulation rapture. But to me, this doesn't have anything to do with it. It may be, I don't know. But this doesn't have anything to do with it. They're specifically, Jesus is talking to that church and to those people for what they did. So that's just something that you can bet money on. I mean, it's not for everybody. It's specifically for that church and those people. So let's talk about the crown. So when he talks about thy crown, he tells them to hold fast to it, right? So they already have it. They already have a crown, okay? And he tells them to hold fast to it. And when he talks about quickly, coming, he's not talking about soon. He's talking about suddenly. So quickly in the Greek, actually the way it's written means suddenly, and basically he will just show up, okay? So if the gathering of his own were to occur after the 70th week of Daniel, there would have to be some kind of intervening period of 7 years. So it's not an imminent return. It's a quick return. So we're still waiting on that time period to begin, because you still have to have the 7 years of the intervening period. All right. So as far as Philadelphia, they were basically missionary outreach is what it was. So in 13, he says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. Both Smyrna and Philadelphia, in their letters, they have no criticism. Both of these cities are still ones that are remaining today. Those churches are still remaining. Maybe not physically. That's something I really didn't look into, but I need to. But the actual Church of Philadelphia and the Church of in Smyrna that were there at the time, they're still going. So that's just something that's kind of cool. I think that these certain things with the churches, that those are the two that Jesus didn't really have anything bad to say about them. And guess what? They're still here on earth today. So, all right, that pretty much does it for me with the 15 minutes. Philadelphia. So join me back here at 7:30, and we're going to get into Laodicea, which is the 7th church and final church letter, and we'll go over a few things. I can't promise that I'll get all the way through Laodicea, but I'm sure going to do my best to get you the information and get it out as quickly as possible. So thank you for showing up, and we'll see you here in a little bit.